Okay, I think most of you have got these handsets. I can still see some hands, but I think we must start. So the channel that you can use on this device, channel 1 is in English. Can I ask that the noise levels just go down a bit, please? Can I ask that we just be a bit quieter? And if the team that's handing out the headsets can just, I think they're also helping you with the channels. But channel 1 is English, channel 2 is Chivenda and Xitsonga, channel 3 is isiZulu and isiXhosa, channel 4 is Sesotho, Setswana, and channel 5 is Afrikaans. So those are the channels. All right, so we're going to start. I think some of you, most of you have got your headsets and you are able to choose the correct channel so that you can listen. So let me firstly welcome all the members of the committee that are here. Thanks for being here. Also, let me greet the committee support team that's here and the staff. Let me also acknowledge the presence here of officials of the department and its various entities. Let me also, are there any councillors here with us? Mr. Mbisa, just check there. I think there's an indication of. All right. So let me then welcome all of you as guests here that are here. And I'm told there are some that are still possibly on the way. But we want to welcome you. And we trust that as we go through the various presentations and allowing you to engage and ask questions, I hope that you will be useful and that you will be able to leave here answered and a better understanding as to how the Department of Transport, the Gautrain, G-Fleet, TAG, Transport Authority Gauteng, I hope you'll have a better understanding. The purpose of this particular committee meeting is to, we're having a number of presentations that will be looking at the performance of the Department of Transport and Roads and Transport in Gauteng and its various entities between the 1st of April 2024 up until the 31st of March 2025. At the same time, we will also be receiving a presentation as well on how the department has performed during the period July to September. I think that's the second quarter. So every 3 months, we get updated as a committee as to how the department is using its money. Is it meeting its targets? Is it doing what it's told us that it's going to do? So that's really the purpose of today's committee meeting. And as I say, you will get a much better understanding as to how the department works, and you'll be able to engage as well. I also want to take the opportunity of greeting the sound team that have set everything up. Let me also greet the interpreters at the back there. Welcome, and thank you for being here. And let me also greet the sign language interpreters that are here with us. Thank you also for being here. And let me also say good morning to those who might or YouTube. The legislature always broadcasts its committee meetings and in sessions like this on and Facebook. So to those of you who are on those pages, welcome and good morning to you as well. I believe that we do have a councillor that's here with us, Councillor Tibogo Mkhlari from the city of Johannesburg. Councillor, where are you? Are you here? Welcome, Councillor. Thank you for joining us all the way from Johannesburg. And I hope that you will find this session, that you will find it very useful in the work that you do. And perhaps we don't have space here, but we want to welcome you. Maybe it's better that you sit there so that you can get a sense of the presentations as well. But welcome, Councillor, and we will take an opportunity of greeting you personally when we finish, but we're very pleased to have you here. Before we go any further, normally our committee meetings are held at the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, and there are rules that apply. There are rules that govern the legislature, how it works, and how meetings should proceed. And one of the things, when we have a committee meeting outside of the Gauteng Legislature, we must then declare the venue that we are in as part of the Gauteng Legislature. And when we do that, the rules of the legislature apply here as well, the same as they would apply if we were meeting at the legislature physically. So let me declare the Zonkizizwe Community Hall as a legislature precinct in terms of Rule 56(1) and 2, which state as follows. 1, the legislature or a committee of the legislature may hold meetings outside of the ordinary precinct of the legislature. And 2, the speaker or a chairperson of a committee holding a meeting outside the precinct declare the area as a precinct of the legislature for the duration of the meeting. And so, before we go any further, I just want to check with Stembiso if there are any apologies. Stembiso?
Entities as well as our stakeholders in the House. I think, Chair, the apologies that for the day. The other apology is from Member Sirota, who's not in the province at this point, so he said he will join virtually if he finds time on the day. Apologies are from the department.
Member More?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I move.
Thanks, Member More. Is there a seconder? Member Du Plessis?
Chair, I'll second.
Thank you very much. Start with you, Member More, and we'll finish up on this side.
Thank you very much. Tumela, good morning. Hue More, Sanbonani. I'm Emma More. I'm member of this portfolio committee. Thank you.
Sanbona, ninjani namhlanje? Umalaza kaSikhosana usebenza kulele le transport. Ngiyabonga.
My name is Eva Du Plessis, also a member of the Committee of Transport at the Gauteng Provincial Legislature.
Ubandile Masuku, a member ye Committee ye Transport, ngiyabingelela.
Thank you very much, members. Once again, Dumelang, Likai, Gauteng. Naki Greg Schneemann, key member Yakamuti. So, we are going to start with our committee meeting. Before we do that, we must just confirm the agenda, and this is how we work in the legislature. So it also gives you a sense as to how we actually work and how we do things. So Stimbiso, can you put the agenda up and take us through the agenda, please? Stimbiso Ntiani, standing up there in the white shirt. He is the committee coordinator. So he's basically, in a way, our boss, because he makes sure with his team that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. Stimbiso, over to you.
Thank you, Chair, once again. In terms of the agenda for the meeting of today, on the number 3, we deal with the confirmation of the agenda. Then on number 4, we deal with the presentation by the department and its entities on the following reports. The first report is the annual report for the 24-25 financial year. The second report is the second year. On 4.3, we have the comprehensive presentation on the department's preparedness and response in dealing with the sinkholes as and when they develop in the province. Then on 4.4, it's updates on the pilot project on the new number plate system as well as the proposed interventions on the security features. On number 5, we have the stakeholder submissions. Number 6, NCOP and provincial bills. Number 7, tracking. Number 8, petitions. Number 9, correspondence. And number 10, the date of the next meeting and adjournment. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Stimbiso. Honourable members, that's the draft agenda for your consideration. Is there a mover? A seconder?
I
Member
move, Chair.
A second? Moving for
I
adoption.
move for adoption.
Is there a seconder?
Seconded, Chair.
Thanks very much. So, members, we've dealt with the agenda and we can now proceed. So we're going to take all the presentations, and what we're going to do is we're going to ask questions for answers to be given. But as committee members, we are going to convene where all the officials of the department will be present, and we will be able to have discussions on these reports. So if we don't ask questions, it's because we've decided we must allow yourselves to have the opportunity of asking questions and getting answers. We will engage in a separate meeting. So just wanted to explain that. But I also think for the officials from the department here, we welcome you, but please understand, we are rescheduling another meeting for us to engage on these presentations. But so I'm going to hand over to the CEO of G-Fleet. CEO, welcome. I think you are going to be leading the team. And I think you probably would deal first with the presentations on the annual report, and then secondly with the presentations on the quarterly performance, second quarter. Is that right?
Okay, good morning, Chairperson and community members and honorable members. Chair, I propose that because there's so many documents, that we deal with the department's annual report and quarter 2. So then I can then call on the entities to then deal with it in that, and then we'll go to the presentation and then the number plates, if that's fine with you, Chair.
So maybe that's fine. I think that makes sense. What I want to then suggest before you start with the presentations, maybe CEO just allowable. Sorry, over to you.
And then we'll move down to the colleagues there. Once again, good morning, Chairperson Governor, I'm the acting Chief Executive Officer for G Fleet Management, which is an entity of the Department of Roads and Transport.
Department of Roads and Transport. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members, community. My name is Russell Mutsamai Mahibi from the Office of the HOD and the Department of Roads and Transport. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. Nanonke ngiyanibingelela ngegama Shange. I am the interim chief operating officer of the Gauteng Transport Authority.
Good morning. Committee, and good morning. Nyanbingelela, Ikamala Mulindeni Lamini. I'm a director from Roads Maintenance. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, committee members, colleagues from DRT, members of the community. My name is Kensani Shabalala from the Gauteng Department of Roads and Transport. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, community. My name is Margaret Palani from Gauteng Department of Roads and Transport.
Community, Tobela Badudi, Lebijolaka ki William Mabucha, Gauteng Department of
Morning, Chair, morning, members, as well as department officials. Sanbona Nonke. My name is Siabonga Mabaso, the acting Chief Operations Officer.
Morning, Chair, morning, members and members of the community. My name is Nhlahla Sivola.
So you just need to. We're not going to be able to do a presentation and then questions. It'll take too long. All right. Over to you, CEO. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Chairperson. We're going to start with the department in terms of the annual report, followed by the Q2, and then we will follow with the entities after that. Thank you. Over to yourself.
Thank you, CEO. I'm going to present the annual report 24-25 for the Department of Roads and Transport. We're going to be covering our financial performance and then any challenges we experienced during the previous financial year. And despite the financial experience due to inadequate budget allocations, we were still building on our successes from the previous financial year. A qualified audit opinion in 2022-2023 to an unqualified further improved in the financial year 23-24, we actually achieved, and we built on that success in the 24-25 financial year to continue to strengthen our accountability mechanisms towards a clean audit outcome, improved budget on service delivery and future transport to meet the transport challenges of the current and future citizens of Gauteng. Thus, we are proud to convey the achievements and challenges experienced in providing a safe, affordable, accessible, and reliable transport network and systems to the people of Gauteng. Through our investments in infrastructure, the department was able to contribute meaningfully towards the elevated priorities of the financial year 24-25, which was accelerated economic recovery, crime, corruption, vandalism, and lawlessness, and lastly, to improve the living conditions in townships, informal settlements, and hostels. In terms of our strategic roads upgrade, we launched the operations also in Maponya Mall, as we explained, and we also partnerships for safer transport. We formally launched the Protect a Robot Crime that we experience on our provincial road network. We also successfully signed 26 standing with various businesses and residential associations with the focus of ensuring the restoration of our traffic signs as well as tracking any traffic issues of theft and vandalism on our traffic signals and street lights. We also partnered with the Johannesburg Road Agency to identify and fix dysfunctional and vandalized traffic lights within the city of Johannesburg. In terms of our provincial road maintenance program, we focused on the maintaining the provincial road network by improving safety and reliability and ensuring with prioritizing the fixing of potholes, resealing of roads, the maintenance of gravel roads, and the blading of gravel. I won't read out the numbers there, but we completed maintenance activities. We maintained a road network of 5,593 kilometers. We completed of surface roads which was resealed, 77 kilometers of gravel roads which was programmed, with the focus of economic growth and job creation at the front of our efforts in terms of our road construction and maintenance projects. Not only are we enhancing infrastructure, but we're also providing valuable jobs and development opportunities to local communities, small and medium enterprises, and to subcontractors. In this regard, we incubated 20 contractors from CIDB Level 1 who were appointed in our contractor development program, and these contractors were provided with opportunities to develop their skills and improve from CIDB Level 1 rating over the course of the program towards CIDB Level 2, 3, or 4. In terms of our expanded public works program, which is our commitment to job creation, the department is one of the main contributors to job creation, and we created 5,856 jobs in local communities under our EPWP road maintenance program. And out of that 5,856, 3,384 youth were employed in our infrastructure projects, and a total of 3,668 of those were women. In terms of our youth empowerment program in the department, we had 86 youth who were employed in our internship program, where we provided them with on-site workplace skills development and training so that we have a competent workforce for government. In terms of crime, combating crime and corruption through the introduction of our new number plate system for Gauteng, in February we published a government gazette with the intention to introduce a new motor vehicle number plate system for the Gauteng province. In the development of the number plate prototype, we engaged various stakeholders that were consulted, such as the National Department of Transport, the Road Traffic Management Corporation, a number of law enforcement agencies, number plate manufacturers, and all these stakeholders helped us towards developing and providing inputs to the new number plate prototype. We also developed a bill which was enacted by the President, and we're awaiting the approval of those regulations by the Minister of Transport. We have commenced with a pilot study which we rolled out in 25-26 financial year, which is this financial year, with 300 government vehicles. A total of 100 number plates were embossed for 50 vehicles as of 31st March 2025, and we have affixed all 100 number plates on our G vehicles, which are being tracked by law enforcement officers to know, and this is for monitoring whether the number plates work properly and correctly, if there are any deficiencies or issues around those number plates. 80 out of 96 registration certificates were also issued to compliant embossers, and 16 are in the process of being certified. In terms of providing sustainable bus services to communities, we have 16 subsidized bus contracts, which 15 of them are negotiated, and one of those are a tendered contract, which is funded by the Public Transport Operations Grant. And these contracts operate in 3 metropolitan municipalities, which is the City of Johannesburg, City of Swane, Ekurhuleni, and the Citybeng District Municipality. During the financial year, with the 16 bus contracts operational, we achieved the following. The number of subsidized buses, commuter trips, we had over 2,000 commuter trips during the financial year. A total number of subsidized bus trips completed were over 73 million. In terms of the total number of subsidized bus trips, again, over 1,200,000 bus trips were completed. Subsidized services, we had over 73 million kilometers that were serviced. In terms of the total number of subsidized routes that we operated on, there were over 3,670 routes that we operated. The subsidy we paid was through our PTOG grant, which was over 3 billion. 200 subsidized buses were electronically monitored, and 100% of those subsidized services were monitored by 3 supervisory monitoring firms, where they monitor whether our services are efficient and effective, and they also focus on improving the services of our bus operators and the quality of our services to commuters. In terms of the review of the 25-year integrated master plan, this ITMP 25, we completed this as a long-term transport planning document. So the ITMP 25 master plan sets out our comprehensive program for transport service delivery in the province over the next 25 years. And this report was completed and will be implemented during the 2030 5-year term. In terms of our transport management center, we have a transport management center which provides information to citizens of Gauteng, and during the financial year, over 227,845 SMSs were sent out to citizens of Gauteng, with a total number of 1,098,478 communications being completed for the financial year. In terms of our driver, learner, and vehicle services that we provided during the financial year, one of our key functions is the regulatory function, and that which is to provide a safe and reliable driver license testing centers, and ensuring that we have safe drivers on our road. This function is carried out by our driver learner testing centers in the province, which facilitates the implementation and enforcement measures for drivers and vehicles regulation. The aim is to ensure we have safe drivers and vehicles on the road, and during the financial year under review, the following were achieved. I won't go through all of them, but the numbers are there indicating the number of vehicle licenses registered, vehicle licenses renewed, learner license applications that we received, and the number of learner licenses that we issued, our driver license test applications that we processed, and the number of new driver licenses that we issued. One of the major successes for us in terms of the regulation of drivers, learners, and vehicles is we now have a mobile smart licensing center, and we launched this mobile center, 2 of them, during our October Transport Month, and these 2 mobile smart licensing centers are operational, and they are able to reach more people across the province targeting mainly remote areas which were previously underserviced and other identified areas to increase accessibility to driver and vehicle licensing services. Our financial performance for the financial year. The department stands as a primary catalyst for revenue generation for the province, where we command a substantial share exceeding 60% motor vehicle licenses, which emerge as the principal fountainhead for the income for the department, primarily through tax receipts which accrue from motor vehicle licensing fees. In terms of the collection of revenue, we increased from 4.9 billion in the financial year 23-24 to 5.2 billion in 24-25, which was a 7% increase. We also supported SMMEs through improved payment mechanism, where we ensured that 100% of SMME invoices were paid within 30 days, and 98% of those invoices were paid within 15 days. We further spent 99% of the final budget allocated to the province on infrastructure. We spent 100% of the budget, which indicates our commitment towards improving the Gauteng economy. All of our conditional grants we also spent at 100%. We also made great strides in reducing our fruitless and wasteful expenditure, where we only had approximately 2.1 million in fruitless and wasteful expenditure for the financial year. Our overall expenditure performance for the department, as we indicated, was at 100% of the allocated budget. The department's revenue was 101 by the year end. There was no spending recorded in terms of, okay, I don't think that's, I won't go through the budget programs here.
Can we try to come in as quiet as possible? Because we have already started. You can proceed.
We also made great strides in the financial year to ensure there was no current irregular expenditure which was recorded during the financial year. One of the major successes of the department was actually achieving a clean audit for the 24-25 financial year. And when we say a clean audit, we mean it was an unqualified audit with no findings, thus further improving our service delivery to the people of Gauteng, with an 84% achievement of our planned targets for service delivery during the financial year. Some of the challenges we experienced during the financial year which impacted on our service delivery was the performance of some of the contractors we had on our infrastructure projects, which resulted in many of the projects either being delayed or terminated. So to obviate or to address this where a challenge within a proactive approach, the department developed a panel of contractors to expedite the procurement process and appointment of contractors to complete these projects in a timeous and efficient manner. Continued taxi violence has also contributed negatively to public transport services. It resulted in not only the loss of lives, but also the disruption of public transport services to communities. The department undertook various stakeholder engagements with the taxi industry to address all the issues that they put on the table and also to enhance the regulatory environment to ensure we maintain a safe, reliable public transport service. We also had joint partnerships with law enforcement agencies, such as the Road Traffic Management Agency, and we are developing a prioritized, which we prioritize the safety of commuters, utilizing public transport as a critical component of the department's public transport and road safety program. We also had a tight fiscus for the financial year, which impacted on the budget allocation, resulting in many projects not being fully funded and thus not being fully implemented. The 24-25 budget allocation expenditure was at 100%, indicating that the department was able to fully expend its budget on service delivery projects and reprioritizing to ensure that the department delivered on its mandate, address transport issues, and ensure safe, reliable transport infrastructure and systems for citizens of Gauteng. Chair, that concludes my presentation for the annual report.
Okay. For some time, I'll be taking over, so we can proceed to the next presentation.
Thank you, Chair. We will now go on to the quarter 2 for the financial year 25-26, which is the current financial year. Yeah. Chair, we will be presenting our quarterly performance. And in terms of those areas where we underachieved, means that we underperformed and didn't meet the total target, we have highlighted that in red. And where we have achieved the set target for the quarter, we've highlighted it in green. In terms of the financial year, we had for quarter 2, we had 20 targets, and out of those 20 targets, we achieved 14 of those, which gave us a 70% achievement rate for the financial year. I won't go through specifically. This is just a graphic representation. I will go in detail. This is also very much just an analysis of our performance. As I said, I will go through in detail with each project under each of the programs. In terms of Program 1, Administration, one of our targets was a clean audit opinion, and as we indicated, it's an annual target, but just to indicate, Chair, we did achieve our clean audit for the financial year 24-25. The target for us in terms of our invoices paid within 15 days, the target was at 95%. We are proud to indicate that we have paid 100% of all invoices within 15 days. In terms of our invoice payment within 30 days, again, we've paid all of our invoices, which is 100% within 30 days. In terms of expenditure to BBBE compliant suppliers, which is our broad-based Black economic empowerment suppliers, unfortunately, we were not able to achieve our target of 80%. We achieved a 76.5% expenditure, and this was due to insufficient cash flow availability from Provincial Treasury, which resulted in us not being able to pay all in our BEE invoices for the quarter. We're mitigating this year by ensuring that all of our payments to BEE suppliers are prioritized, and when we receive our cash flow allocation from Provincial Treasury, we will pay them on a monthly basis. But we'd like to emphasize that we are hampered by the cash flow receipt from Provincial Treasury. In terms of our target of 50% spend to Black-owned enterprises, again, we're proud to indicate that 76.5% was spent to Black-owned enterprises. In terms of one e-service operationalized, we did not achieve the full target. We only achieved 80% of our configuration of that particular e-service, and that was due to delays we experienced on the configuration of the system from the Department of E-Government and the Road Traffic Management Corporation. And that was the configuration of the system to the e-Natus application. We are mitigating this by consistently liaising with RTMC and eGov on the testing and configuration of the system, and we have completed now 95% of the configuration, and we anticipate that the testing of the system will be completed in the third quarter, with the system going live and operational in the fourth quarter of this financial year. Program 2, which is our transport infrastructure. Chair, all of these are annual targets. We don't report them in quarter 2. We will report them in quarter 4. The targets for quarter 2, in terms of our surface roads resealed, we unfortunately did not achieve the target of 45,000 square meters. 30,400 square meters were not resealed, and this is due to the prolonged procurement process for the appointment of our RIFSA contractors. There were over 1,000 contractors that we had applied for the contracts, and therefore, through the process, there were delays in appointments. But we can successfully indicate, Chair, that the contractors for the RIFSAs were appointed at the end of quarter 2, and the department is in the process of finalizing all of the appointment of our RIFSA 1 and 2 contractors, and they are commencing with the outstanding works, which will be completed in quarter 3. In terms of the kilometers of gravel roads re-gravelled, we did not achieve the target by 3.8 kilometers, and this is due to the fact that there were delays in the procurement of the G materials required for our resealing. The service providers for the resealing have been appointed at the end of quarter 2, and the outstanding works will be completed in quarter 3. For these two, Chair, we'd like to indicate that we have already commenced with works. Not only is the outstanding works completed, but we have commenced with our quarter 3 targets as well. In terms of our blacktop patching, we overachieved on our target, and we patched an additional 3,000 square meters during the quarter to improve our road safety. In terms of the gravel roads bladed, we again overachieved on our target, and we provided a list of all the roads we have bladed in terms of our road network. In terms of EPWP, which is our job creation program, we targeted 4,600. We overachieved by providing 312 additional work opportunities, giving us a total of 4,975 local community members who were employed under our EPWP program and also through our Nasispani program. Unfortunately, in the youth, we did not achieve the target. We underachieved by 230 job creation opportunities. However, we're ensuring that once our RIFSAs 1, 2, and 3 are on track, those job opportunities will be created. In terms of women, 3,200 women were employed during the quarter under review. And in terms of persons with disability, over 33 persons with disabilities were employed through our EPWP program. If we go to program 3, which is our transport operations, in terms of the subsidized bus contracts, we achieved our target of 16 subsidized bus contracts, which were operationalized on the agreed routes. The subsidized routes, we had 3,670, and we had 98% of 2,000 verified subsidized bus fleet, which were electronically monitored by our supervisory firms. And also in terms of the information we provided to transport users through our Transport Management Center, providing them with information on transport infrastructure and transport information. We had over 270,000 information that was shared to transport users. Our Vereniging Intermodal Facility is an annual target, but just to indicate, Chair, we are well on our way to achieving that target in the financial year. We are near completion, and it's envisaged that the Vereniging Intermodal Facility will be completed by November. In terms of Program 4, Transport Regulations, we targeted 60 compliance inspections at our DLTC. We completed 61, and this was because we were able to ensure that we had additional resources allocated and reconfigured towards the audit process, and that helped us to achieve an additional audit compliance. In terms of our revenue, unfortunately, we were not successful in achieving our target, and that is because we are dependent on the municipalities surrendering the revenue generated for the quarter to the department. And fewer municipalities then provided us with the full surrendering of those revenues. We are continuing to engage all of the municipalities to ensure they surrender the revenues timeously. We also engage utilizing various intergovernmental relations forums to engage with the municipalities to ensure that they surrender the revenues timeously to the department. In terms of operating licenses to public transport operators, we overachieved on our target by providing 2,284 operating licenses, and this was due to the fact that we were also addressing our backlog applications with public transport operators. Chair, that concludes the presentation for the second quarter. Thank you.
Okay, now thanks very much. Before we continue, I'm just hoping it doesn't become too much of an overload to do everything at once, but it might be the better option to do all the presentations and then open up for questions. Okay. But there are some guests that have arrived after we'd started. If you would want to have access to the interpretation handsets, there is interpretation in English, Xitsonga, Tshivenda, isiZulu, isiXhosa, Sesotho, Setswana, and Afrikaans. If you would want to have access to these, to listen in the language of your choice, please put your hands up. Can the team please help us quickly distribute handsets? And they will also check with you what language you want to listen, and I think they'll help you choose the channel as well. Please keep your hands up. Yeah. Let's just allow this quickly, otherwise they're not going to be able to listen. Okay, can we please quieten down? Can we please quieten down? We want to start again. Can I ask that we please quieten down? You will get your handset and they will help you just set up the channel. But we're going to continue. Can I just remind us to please keep a note of the questions you want to ask. So we've had the presentation on the department for its annual report, how it performed from the 1st of April 2024 to the 31st of March 2025, and then also how they have performed from July to September of this year. So now we are going to go, which is the next presentation? The next one is we are going to then get 2 presentations for G Fleet, and I'm sure the CEO will just quickly explain who G Fleet is. I'm sure it's in the presentation. And then there'll be 2 presentations on that. And then I think we'll get the car train after that, and then Transport Authority Gauteng. Over to CEO and the team. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson, and once again, good morning to the Chairperson, honorable members, and community members. Chair, just to highlight to all members of the community, G-Fleet is an entity of the Department of Roads and Transport, and we provide fleet vehicles to all government departments. So whenever you see a car out there on the road that has a G at the end,
continues to be stellar as it was meant to be. And in terms of the fare evasion, we collecting the revenue that we collected in the Gauteng system. One of the important part of the Gauteng in the improvements in the stations where we've done that, like Rhodesfield Station as well as Senton and Marlborough, fell short by 0.5% in terms of the targets that we had set for ourselves in improvement, as we will see in the quarterly report. But obviously, in terms of seeing, even in terms of the passenger financial year of 24, we also achieved our SED target, where we are making sure that the Senate's at an advanced stage. It was there at the end of last year, and that proceeded very well, and we looking forward to the outcomes of that, so that we can safeguard the finances of the province in how we spend and we run projects. We also achieved a certificate that underscores the fact that as part of the Gauteng system, knowledge management is critical. So there was a number of initiatives that were done to ensure that to highlight the fact that GMPP, the 7% as mentioned, it was the ridership in terms of the train and the buses that we didn't achieve, and as well as 14 million in that enabled us to be able to run as an agency and to continue as a going concern. And that's where we are, Chairperson, with the finances. And we continue that's the one. That we continue in our endeavor to manage and look after the Gauteng service, and show that we achieved all our targets for the quarter, implemented as an entity, and then we saw an increase in terms of our to above 6% in terms of the target that we have for year to date. In terms of the buses, we had a 2.1% above the target for the quarter, which translates to about 1% of our year-to-date target. So we've seen a great improvement with regards to the involvement of staff, the initiatives that we implemented, and we've seen the take-up in terms of the products that we see at our stations as well. And as well as the number of initiatives that we took to ensure that we have enough capacity now that the passengers are coming back into the service. And then, as part of our activities, is that of assuring that our private partner, the concessionaire, is meeting their obligations. So there's a number of activities that we do. We achieve the penalty verification that we always do on a quarterly basis, but we've got monthly penalty verification meetings where we're able to hold them accountable for some of the obligations that they don't achieve, and we are able to penalize them on that, including we had achievements in terms of verifying our patronage guarantee as well, and reviewing that on a monthly basis, and as well as making sure that we hold them accountable in terms of non-compliance, in terms of health and safety and the likes, to ensure that the service is not only running efficiently, but it's also safe as well, so that we achieved all our targets. The one in blue is the one that is not due for the quarter. In terms of our finances as well, we achieved the targets of the revenues that we had set for ourselves as part of non-fair revenue for the quarter. We had partnership agreements that we concluded that enabled us to improve the ridership and the events that we did, and also making sure that we manage our assets through the inspections that we do, as well as the review of the reports. That was also achieved in the quarter. And in terms of our governance, what was due in the quarter is ensuring that our control dashboard is sound, as well as ensuring that we continue to manage our audit plan within the various business units in the entity, and that was achieved as well for the quarter. And then, Chair, then in terms of our environmental and corporate governance, our ICT systems continue to give us what we needed in terms of availability. Our risk management has also been achieved, and as well as ensuring that the entity is compliant in terms of the legislation, whether it's the current legislation and the legislation that comes through during the year and the quarter as well. The number of initiatives that we've undertaken together with our partners to ensure that we maintain the reputation of the Gauteng, we also achieved that. We made sure that the environmental monitoring is done in the system as well, and that was achieved for the quarter, as well as the social investment programs that we run with external entities that requires their assistance. We also achieved that for the quarter that is under review, quarter 2. And the last slide, Chair, just highlights the number of planning initiatives that
probably the biggest highlight for the year under review is that since its establishment, the authority received its first ever clean audit outcome from the AG. From performance highlights, maybe starting with the operationalization of the TAG. In the past financial year, the TAG was supported by an interim management structure comprised of mostly employees from the Gauteng Management Agency, as well as 2 officials that were seconded from the department halfway through the year. Another highlight for the year, Chair, is that the TAG was successfully listed as a Schedule 3C company by National Treasury. This is as at 1st of October 2024. This is a key milestone to enable then the full operationalization of the entity. From an annual performance plan perspective, the APP comprised 19 KPIs, of which 18 were achieved, which translates to a 95% achievement. The only KPI that was not achieved was related to the completion of the stakeholder engagement for the Gauteng Integrated Fair Management Policy, and I'll deal with that when I deal with the APP. In terms of the project delivery, the authority completed the development of the Gauteng Provincial Land Transport Framework, which was, as per the NLTA, was approved by the National Minister last year, August. Other projects that were executed are the...
I'll just interrupt you for a moment. Can I just ask that we just keep the noise levels down?
Thank you, Chair. Regarding then the ITMP 25, the strategic transport plan, as well as the integration of those 3 plans. Part of what the TAG is intending to do is to be in transport and transport planning to support government and public transport agencies in delivering their transport plans and infrastructure. We have a key relationship with the international, as popularly known, and through that, any official is able to come through the TAG and access the UITP library. From an expenditure perspective, The actual expenditure was at 38. Chair, the okay, is this better? Okay, my apologies. On a recovery basis, so expenditure is actually the money that the department then, at the time of the due to pay back to the tag. We were actually at a 5 million rand surplus and funds that we are waiting from the department. In conclusion, Chair, despite the challenges that the entity has, the efforts outlined in this report serve as a framework for future initiatives that might be advanced. The authority is well positioned for greater effectiveness and future growth. By way of update, the process then of recruiting the new CEO is at an advanced stage. So this time next year, we're confident then there'll be stability in terms of the leadership of the organization. Thank you. Moving on then to the annual performance for the second quarter of the year. By way of introduction, the TAG's annual performance plan is made up of 10 strategic outcomes and 22 outputs and output indicators. In terms of quarter two, on outcome one, there were none of the outputs were due in quarter two. In terms of outcome two, the engagement with stakeholders and other role players in transport and public transport, that was achieved, as well as the technical level engagements with the local authorities, that was achieved. Engagements with state-owned enterprises in the transport sector was also achieved, as well as then engagement with transport operators in the province. In terms of outcome three, none were due this quarter. Performance for quarter two, Chair. Thank you.
Potholes. On the potholes. Ms. Dlamini.
Good afternoon, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee and the committee members. Also, good afternoon for senior management and the fellow community. Ms. Lindeni Dlamini, I'll be representing for Department of Roads and Transport on sinkholes. Thank you so much. The contents of the presentation, it will touch on introduction, the background. We also have to touch on the state of assessment, the monitoring, and the emergency in terms of responses, as well as the budget and the community engagement and safety measures that we promote. We also identified the gaps analysis, as well as the recommendation. This presentation is covering the state of readiness to deal with emergent sinkholes that are developing in the Gauteng road network. as well as it will provide certain recommendations which, if implemented, will enhance the department's ability to deal with the emergencies. We thought that we should take you through the background and the context of the sinkholes. To say that sinkholes, a sinkhole is a depression or a cavity in the ground. It is caused by a surface layer, typically is triggered by erosion under the rock, infiltration or human activities such as drillings, and of the past 50 to 60 years, where thousands of sinkholes and subsidency events making one of the most affected province in South Africa. Municipality, Kale City, are particularly vulnerable of dolomite, dolomitic land. The roads where you find motorists, the infrastructure as such is having a severe depression. So, of the roads. This alone, areas, this is the map that it gives you the shaded areas. I'm sure it is clear, but in green, where you can see where we are experiencing these sinkholes in the areas in Ekurhuleni municipalities. The department has an annual cost of pavement surveillance where all roads in its network of the road is recorded, where the depression, however, the majority of sinkholes had occurred in the province without advance warning cycles. There's a funny sound, I don't know whether. At any, the depth of between 30 we have the specialized geotech at the ground, and there is a GPR used in terms of detecting the occurrence of sinkhole, and if it's done in the entire road network. The regional maintenance teams and RRM, that is routine contractors that are appointed, they conduct daily inspection on route on these areas where we look at the route patrol of the network and to be able to pick up the occurrence of the sinkhole immediately. This table, it also outlines the emergency or the turnaround time in terms of rehab sinkholes. So I'll start by looking at the immediate response when we detect the sinkholes, that is 0 to 24 area, and we normally do a notification of the relevant authorities and within a week, there will be a preliminary assessment where geotech aspects are deployed for evaluation of the site, where risk classification is also determined for an agent scope for intervention. Within 2 to 4 weeks, we conduct a very comprehensive take the soil sampling to the laboratory for testing, and the report is developed with findings and recommendation thereof. Also, there is a detailed where I've already mentioned that one. Let's jump to the mitigation planning now. 4 to 8 weeks, there will be the sinkhole work routing or backfilling or drainage improvement, the sinkholes, the water seeping into those cracks. Make sure that our drainage are improved so that the water is able to flow. Then we start to procure the material, remedy the sinkhole. So we also conduct stakeholder engagement so that we then within 3 to 6 months, depending on the severity of the sinkhole, how big is the sinkhole, there is an execution of engineering. So we need to have a consistent monitoring for the quality control during the construction, structure, and site rehabilitation. As mentioned before, an ideal situation whereby not all the challenge that you are experiencing, as I've mentioned, that we still have to source the contractors, the department to remedy the solution. What is happening in committee that is chaired by Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in the experts so that the best practice are discussed in terms of how do we deal with the sinkholes. So that's what I'll quickly go to also the budget and resources, as I've mentioned. We do not have an allocation budget that is set aside to deal with sinkholes as they occur. Instead, the department will have to look at the additional budget available at the time of the occurrence, either by issuing instruction to the vary contractor amounts for sinkholes that occur when a list is actually as expected. And there is now a process of shifting budget from certain critical needs to cater for sinkholes. So in the latter case, the shifting of budget of procurement, it's eventually we need, as I've mentioned, to have the PSPs. PSPs, they actually have to do the assessment and give us a report on the sinkhole so that we are aware how deep is the sinkhole and what are the costing. Thereafter, it is then that the contractor will be appointed to remedy the sinkhole. I've already mentioned the issue of public communication in my opening. This is very critical that we involve the community in and around the areas that are impacted by sinkhole so that we promote safety and we also educate the communities in terms of signage that are actually visible on the road for road closures. And as well, we pronounce the diversion of the roads in terms of which alternative roads can be used while we've cordoned the area. And we keep on engaging with the communities in terms of progress of the sinkhole. It happened at the HP, that is Henry Potgieter in the south of Johannesburg. I've already spoken to the issues that are a challenge to the department. What we have done, we've looked at the gap analysis in terms of the deficiencies and look at how can we remedy the situation where you find that there is no reserved funding to deal with sinkholes as and when they occur, and as well the lack of experts within the department itself and unavailable of equipment, because we will have to have the detecting equipment like GPR, as I've mentioned earlier on, that we have to have the ground penetration radar. So all those machines has to be bought. I'll quickly go to the recommendation in this case, what can be done. In response to that, I've mentioned that there's a creation of a panel of a geotechnical expert to fast track the deployment of carrying out of the investigation, as well as the equipment, investment of the equipment to monitor the possible sinkholes in the provincial roads. And also, we are engaging with NDOT in terms of special allocation to deal with sinkhole. Those discussions has already begun, and also how do we provide with a minimal contingency funding when sinkholes are surfacing. For an example, the cordoning of the area, it also requires a very focal focus. And also we are partnering, we're looking at partnering with academics or research institutions to this aspect. Oh, the other part is that when I opened, I mentioned that I'll be looking at provincial road. However, we have strengthened our relationship, that is intergovernmental relationship with the municipality and other entities. As we all know that in the Ekurhuleni, currently we are experiencing 2 sinkholes, that is at Rondebelt as well as at R23, that is Snake Road. So we have to partner so that we come up with the solutions with other entities. That comes to the end of my presentation, Chairperson. I'll humbly step down from the platform.
Chair, there's still one more, the number plates.
So we've got, so that presentation we've just had was on the big problem that we are finding in Gauteng, and particularly in our provincial roads relating to sinkholes. The last presentation that we're going to take now is about the new number plate system that they are busy working on, and it's being piloted through vehicles operated by G-Fleet. And then after that, we're going to open up for questions for yourselves. Thanks.
Good afternoon, Chairperson, member of the Portfolio Committee, and the official from the Department of Roads and Transport, including the community. Good afternoon. I'll be doing a presentation on the number plate project as introduced by the Chairperson. In terms of the project progress, I'm going to concentrate on the progress. The presentation was done previously at the Chairperson, at the committee, but also him later touched on the project introduction and overview during the presentation on the annual report. During the 2024-2025 financial year, we started with phase 1, where we're looking at the development of the prototype number plate. Then the second phase, which was in 2025-2026 financial year, which is the current financial year that we are in, we looked at the development of the solution, which is the system that we use for the number plate, but also the launch of the number plate, which was held on the 5th of June 2025, that was led by our Premier and our MEC. We are currently at the piloting phase where we monitor the number plate through the G-Fleet vehicles. Then the last phase will be the rollout, which we are currently working with the National Department of Transport. We haven't assumed with the rollout. The key stakeholders that are involved in this project, as the department, we are the lead department in this project, assisted by CSIR. Then we also have the law enforcement agencies, which is your SABS, which is responsible for the number plate standards. We also have the RTMC and the National Road Traffic Department, which is responsible for the regulation in terms of the National Road Traffic Act. Then the industry that is involved in this process, we have your blankers and embossers, which are responsible to manufacture and emboss the number plate. And then we have G-Fleet that was responsible for the 300 vehicles where we affixed the red number plate on their vehicle. Then the key element of this project is the law enforcement officers who are deployed within Gauteng to scan the number plate and make sure that we monitor the number plate through the pilot project. So all these key stakeholders, they formed the number plate technical reference group, which was responsible for legislation, but also technical support on the project. As I've indicated, we are currently on the pilot monitoring phase of the number plate. We've used 300 G-Fleet vehicles where we affixed the new number plate, but also we managed to train 60 law enforcement officers through the Department of Community Safety. As we stand now, the law enforcement officers were able to scan the number plate between the period of September and October. For the period of September, we were able to monitor 53 vehicle plates. For the month of October, 67 vehicle number plates have been monitored by law enforcement officer, and the process is ongoing until the end of the project. In terms of the report, we have developed the first report, the interim report in terms of the pilot project, and the final report will be finalized by mid-December 2024. This will help us guide in terms of the rollout, but also identifying gaps within the system that we need to look at and enhance when we do the rollout. What we have picked up in terms of the limitation of the system is that the current track and trace process is constrained to a stationary vehicle, meaning that law enforcement officers can enforce it through the roadblock or when the vehicle is pulled over by law enforcement officers. So what we need to do going forward is to improve the mechanism to scan vehicles while the vehicle is in motion, but it will require further research to identify a technology that will be required to scan the vehicle while the vehicle is in motion. In terms of the key issues that will enable us to roll out the number plate, they revolve around the bill, the National Road Traffic Act bill, which was approved by the President in December 2024, but also the enacting of the draft National Road Traffic Regulation by the Minister. Another issue is to look at the notice system for the rollout of this number plate system, but also other issues that we have identified throughout the rollout plan. We are in constant engagement with officials in the National Department of Transport. The MEC also on her side is trying to engage with the Minister so that the issue of the legislation can be addressed, and also that when you roll out, we are within the requirement of the law. In terms of the costing, we are looking at having a project to determine the cost of a number plate to the end users. Currently, we have developed the terms of reference for the number plate cost analysis to determine the actual cost for manufacturing the number plate, so that we set the tariffs. We are not dependent on the market. But also, we have drafted the rollout plan. Unfortunately, we cannot finalize the timelines because we are dependent on the legislation so that we can have clear timelines in terms of the rollout plan. As a recommendation, Chairperson, we are saying we seek the intervention from the Minister working through the MEC's office so that we can map a way forward in terms of the activities and the timelines on the legislation, as I've indicated, on the bill, but also on the enacting of the National Road Traffic Act regulation, but also identifying the role of the National Department of Transport when we're looking now at the national rollout of the number plate. The other critical issue is for us to finalize the costing in terms of the independent and scientific study that we are going to undertake to determine what will be the cost of a number plate to the end user. That was my presentation, Chairperson. Thank you so much.
Chairperson, I think we're done from our side now in terms of the presentations. And so, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So we at 20-1. That's all the various presentations. So I want to ask CEO, acting CEO of G-Fleet, leader of the team. We're going to open up for questions, and I'm requesting that your team take note of the questions so that these can be responded to. So, do we have roving mics available? Okay. Who's helping to take the mics around? Stembiso and the team, where are you? Okay. Are yourselves going to help us? Okay, super. But can somebody call Stembiso? Because they need to help with controlling the queue for questions. Or from Lani, you're going to help with that? Okay. All right, so we're going to start on this side over here. All right. And I will take hands. When you speak, just give us your name, surname, where you're from. Hold on. No, wait. And then ask the question. But I'm asking, don't have long questions. Be short and to the point. No speeches, because I'm sure there are quite a few that will want to ask. So let's start this side. If you can put your hands up. Okay. There's two hands. 1, 2. All right. Let's take those two hands first. There's a third hand right at the back there, and that's it. 3 hands.
Thank you, Chair, and also thank with your leadership. So my name is George Olelize, known as Master Push. I'm from Kagiso. I'm from the organization called PCC, Progressive Civic Organization. Chair, I've got only a few questions. Chair, in Kagiso, I've got this license department, and I'm not sure your department is monitoring that center now. Because you see, in that center, when you do learners, even if you come with 1,500, you will pass that license. You see, so I must say, must go, because that is why we've got so many accidents here. Chair, there's this issue of robots in Paklu, somewhere here in Joburg. That robot permanently is off, you see. So I don't know your department, how you deal with that particular issue. Chair, you're talking about gravel road. I mean, we as an MKP, I mean as PCC, yes, we as a PCC, I'm not sure that which area that you're referring to. You're referring to the gravel road in 30 years of democracy. We still have this issue of gravel road. Chair, you're talking about bus services, that you monitor bus services. I'm not sure that you know there's an area called Westland. In Westland, there's no buses there. What your department is saying, because you are only looking for metros and so on. So we as an MK want to know your department, taxi ID. Chair, this issue of taxi violence, how do you regulate the taxi violence? Because you're only talking about the buses and so on and so on. That is why these people, they are fighting for the route, because you are not monitoring them. And can you, your committee, have this thing? Your committee have a session with taxi association and regulate them so that there will be no fight. My last point, Chair, is this issue of military veteran. You know, we are from the exile and you don't get money. So I want to know from your department, how much do you put it for us, military, and what those skills are there? So I want to close it there, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 2.
Ngiyabingelela nonke. Mina nguDudu Kashabangu eKagiso. The last meeting, Chairperson, was eRandfontein with Waka Road and Transport. Bengengacela ukubuza ukuthi loya mgwaqo loya from Azadville to Antleherry uwela under kuphi, because ngengakhala ukuthi it's been long, kunama potholes are very, very sensitive, alimazi imoto. And then uye wathi uzobuya ne-answer, uzohamba uyoyichecka leya ndawo. So I think maybe uye wayichecka. Ngicela ukubuza and ngicela nisilungisele loya mgwaqo. Sekuyiminyaka eminingi kabi siyakhala ngaleya ndawo. And asazi ukuthi wela under kuphi. Kunamangcwaba laphana. Just for mawusuka eAzadville, uya straight Antleherry ne. Leyo ndawo imbi ene iminyaka. I think mangaphosisi bekusafunda abantwana bami lapha ya eBhongweni. But now sekufunda abazukulu bami still injena leya ndawo. So ngicela ukubuza kahle ukuthi iwela under Mkhale City or iwela under Randfontein ukuze nikwazi ukusilungisela yona. Ngiyabonga. Amen.
Sorry, just mention that road again, Fumlani. Just because I couldn't hear on this.
From Azadville to Antleherry to Randfontein, yes. To Randfontein Road.
Number 3 at the back, thank you.
Sanibonani, ngiyanibingelela nonke. Igama lami nguSemthwala. Ngibuye eThokoza. Ngiyezwa nikhuluma ngama number plate amasha. Kodwa imigwaqo igcwele ama potholes. Mohamba la elokishini. Ayisile imigwaqo efana neSnake Road lesa seBhinuni. Lese okudingeka ukuthi nize nithole bochwephesha babheke underground ukuthi sihovozwa yini lemigwaqo egcwele la elokishini la siphila khona. Manje ke ngizwa senikhuluma ngama number plate, kodwa lemigwaqo leni yahluleka ukuyilungisa. Nakhathi nithi niyayilungisa nithumela abantu bathele itiyela la phezulu bangagubhi kahle. And after that, anike check lapha enibathume khona ukuthi bosebenza. Niyabayeka kanjalo nikhiphe nje lezo mali lezo. Kuthi ungani imvula futhi ivuleke lemgodi le. Ngoba ayenzwanga ngendlela efanele. Manje lawo ngokucelayo ukuthi manje okhuphula lento nithi nifuna kufaka ama number plate amahle. Lungisani lemgwaqo ngoba le moto zethu ziyalimala la. Ama number plate ezaphuma amanye. Akhishwe la mapothole agcwele la emgwaqweni. Ngiyabonga.
Can I ask the gentleman that has just spoken if you've got specific road names? Because you're raising a very general question. If there are specific roads, you can bring them to us here after the meeting. Thanks.
Now.
Yeah, afterwards, bring them
right,
here.
okay.
You can bring us a list.
All right.
if there's specific roads, so that we're able to, the department can properly follow up and check. Let's come to this side. All right. Sure. Okay. Let me stand up here and check.
My name is Selina Mputi. I'm a community member in Ward 49. And firstly, I would like to appreciate...
Ward 49 where?
Ward 49 in Polsishu.
Okay. Okay.
Firstly, I would like to appreciate the fact that you brought... I would like to appreciate the fact that you brought the parliament to the people so that we can engage. However, in terms of your reporting, I think it would assist us to narrow it to the areas that we have invited. Because in the area where I'm staying, in Ward 49, we have 7 VDs. In the last 5 years, I don't remember patching yadi potholes. We haven't seen that. So the report, the victories, the good work that you have done should be able to talk to us on the ground. Every day, reborn who really the potholes, but I don't remember in the last 5 years in those 7 VDs who banalim sebetsu oetsuang. The last time Rebali who lukiswa tsela in that area, it was towards national elections last year. And that road was fixed by coincidence because national and provincial leadership visited the area. They had to via that street. It was when that street got attention. But further than that, we don't see service delivery on the ground. The turnaround on the issue of the sinkholes. The presentation talks about there is no budget. If hahuna budget, even the turnaround, obviously, we are not going to realize the response, the potholes. The last issue that I want to raise, when you enter Katlehong, Utsamayaka Sontonga Road, it's a main road. Since ki hula ibile ke tsofetse, tsela ele ha isale e senyehile to this date. What is the problem? Why that road is not being fixed? Thank you.
Just if I can ask the other speakers as well. If you're talking about roads, give us the specific names, because some of the roads are falling under a municipality, and some of the roads are provincial roads. So the Provincial Department of Transport is responsible for provincial roads. So you'd have to just bring the names forward to us here. But before you carry on, can I ask the team that has got these handsets? We can't hear properly in front here. The sound keeps disappearing. We are really struggling now. I don't know if there's new handsets, but the one I've got is rattling so much inside. So we're really struggling to hear, but we'll do our best. Number 2.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, the panel at the table, and good afternoon to everybody in the hall. Number 1, before I get to what was presented to us, is you have brought us to this hall. And this hall, there is no water.
There is water.
in the toilets.
There is.
So it's number one, you're not taking us serious to put us in a hole that has no water. When you go to the loo, you must take a bucket and put water in the sinister. It's wrong. It's very wrong. Right. Another thing, after the presentation, I'm not sure of which road is under municipality, which road is under provincial. But I'm going to mention there's a road that goes to a complex, to a shopping complex in Hlahatsi section. And that road, it's been used by trucks which are delivering at the complex. It's been used by people, the community that goes shopping there. That road was patched sometimes. It was patched. And it has been patched, I don't know how many times, that road. But the minute it rains, it's opened. So we have potholes like, I don't know. Someone else was asking the councillor about those potholes. He even asked the councillor that you want us to plant flowers and trees in those potholes so that maybe you can see them, maybe you don't see them. If we plant trees and flowers, maybe you can see them, of which that's not what we want. Last week, I traveled through that road. 2 cars had punctures. And apparently, it's like they didn't even have spare wheels because they were there, I don't know for how many hours. So we need to be safest. We need to be safest. Yes, the lady that spoke before me, she spoke about the tar road that was resurfaced towards the elections. I am the one who directed, who was leading on purpose those people from province through that road so that they can see how are we struggling. And they fixed that. But this one, Nota Street, that is going to the complex, and Mushweu, Nota and Mushweu, those potholes are a disaster. And secondly, about the sinkhole. At the hospital, when you go to the hospital coming from Alberton or Al Road, there's a short turn left, which if you go to Gauteng, you must have that, you must take that short left. But now, we are no more using that short left because those sinkholes, the car can just be swallowed there. We go to the robot and then turn left, of which is wrong. We must take the short left if you turn in. If you go to the robot, you can cause accidents, but we have to go there for the safety of our cars. I thank you.
I'll take number 3, but can I just ask, you know, when you talk generally, we don't know where these roads are that you're talking about. So what I want to ask, can you come afterwards, whoever else is talking about specific roads, and give us the actual name of the roads and where they are, so that the department can help us to follow up whether these are provincial or local roads. That's the only way that they would be able to check up. Number 3, please proceed.
Greetings all. My name is Samuel Mashimzi. I'm from Tembisa. Here with me, I've got delegates from Tembisa Self-Help Association of the Disabled. If you permit, may I ask them, request them to maybe stand up so that you can see them just partly? Nipagamen, Banbon. So it's a center for people with special needs. So we came here so that we can be able to be part. You may be seated. Chair, remember previously when I was communicating with you regarding the assistance of learners when they go to school, I did share some pictures, you see, so that you can be able to support. But until today, I never get any support from your department. So most learners in townships, they are struggling to cross the streets or the roads, and no one is taking care of that. The other part that it was mentioned in a report, it was in relation to people that are with special needs. I therefore suggest that if it's possible, give us a breakdown, in particular as a Tembisa, to say these so many people that were previously disadvantaged have benefited, be it on learnerships. The last part of it from my side is that we, on behalf of Tembisa, and even though they've been given me a mandate, we are able to assist you to implement some of your programs. You've mentioned in terms of the vandalism, you see. So if you can give us a person that will be able to communicate with us, we might be able also maybe to help you when coming to the development of our country. The issue of the township, informal settlement and houses and hostels, there's nothing that is happening on those areas. What is the problem that makes the government not to implement what they have said? Thanks.
Can I ask the gentleman here that's just spoken, you're welcome to come and give your details to Russell here. Here's Russell. He's in the office of the HOD, so that they can then put you in contact with the correct people. Cool. Number 4.
Thanks, Chair. My name is Jawlane Mkonza. I'm a commuter forum from Brakpan, Greater Brakpan, and a member of the PCC as well. I've got some few questions here. On the report, we're told about the sinkholes and the other issues that are here, but I didn't hear about the issue of the driver who was killed at Maponya Mall for the e-hailings. The other thing I didn't hear about the sinkhole that is in Brakpan when you go to Pinoni. I don't know the name of the street. It's the Prince George or Brakpan Road that goes to Pinoni. It's between Brakpan and Pinoni, there by Plastic City. There's a sinkhole there. I didn't hear mentioned. We are still having a problem with the buses in Tsakane. Ever since we were told that JR Chweu were awarded the tender, but since then, we haven't got a bus transport in Tsakane. When I heard the rumor, it was told that Brakpan is already has a bus transport, and even now we don't have that bus transport. I want to question on the chief fleet. Last we went to Limpopo when we used a government vehicle. We had a problem with that vehicle. It didn't have some brakes. It had a problem with brake pads. So I want to know from the chief fleet that don't you inspect your vehicle before you dispatch them? I heard it here, you spoke about 15 bus contracts. Did you specify the areas? Which areas did those tenders awarded to? Because I remember there's a place at Val, Sidibeng. they had a problem with bus transport. When we meet as bus forums, they're still having that problem, as we're having a problem in Tsakane. You didn't mention the issue of trains, PRASA, because last time when we met, we were told that railways, passenger rails, have been renovated so that we do have a rail transport. But even now, we didn't hear any report from that. I heard there's an investigation of a corruption of 17 billion, but we never had a mismanagement of funds from PRASA board. So we didn't have any report from that. So you spoke about your job creations. You only spoke about youth and women, but men are not men mentioned. Yeah, I've got a lot of things to ask here, but due to time, you spoke about the triple BEE, insufficient cash flow, that we've got members of the contractors who are being awarded jobs, but in terms of being paid, always they are being delayed, or they are getting their pay, their monies after long due, they've done their jobs.
So, can you start to round up, please?
Yes, I'm trying to, because I've got quite a lot of questions here, but I have to pick and choose which one do I ask here.
Quickly, sir. Also, it will assist us if you've got a specific contractor that has not been paid and is long overdue, because the department was announcing its efficiency capability in terms of payments. But it will assist us if we don't talk in general. We talk about specific cases. And then let me also remind the House that we're coming in here as a province. That, there is still municipalities, but we welcome all the information that you give to us. We will escalate it to various municipalities, but we are coming in here as a province, not necessarily as the municipality of Ekurhuleni. Thank you.
Yeah, ngiyabonga mhlonipheki. Ebengizama ukuveza la kusho ukuthi okunye sikuthola uma sifunda izindaba noma sibheka kuma lokhunjana kuma content ukuthi mayelana futhi ne report enikeziwe ukuthi kunendlela whereby la kuba nendlela yokuthi kuba nama insufficient cash flow and ukuthi kunaba contractors ukuthi mayesebenzile ebese angabhadaleki ngesikhathi urabhadaleka muva kube nzima ngisho nokuqedela lo msebenzi. Okunye bengithanda ukuphakamisa sinenkinga yeharambe esolokuthi i-trust zakhona soloku ziqalile zilungiswa, because uma ngikhumbula kahle in terms of ibrakbane bekufanele ngabe iharambe seyiqalile yasebenza and yaba yi-link or yaba ilokhunjana ifeeder to ilokhunjana i-Gautrain. Sinalo nkinga lekuthi ezinye izinto izindlela zokuthi umsebenzi usuke ungaphelelanga, ezinye izindlela zibizwa ngama K what and asina understand ukuthi K bani yipi i-K bani yipi, but ezinye siyazi ngokuthi umgwaqo othile endaweni eso akukalungiswa. Omunye Flakplainen Road ukusuka eTsakane uyodlula ngase Flakplainen Road uma uya eThema. Yes, siyazi ukuthi bosese busy, but ugcina umsebenzi ungaphelelanga. Abanye asazi ukuthi mhlambe kuyinkinga yokuthi imali idliwe noma ukuthi ama contractors awabhadalwanga. So those are the problems that we are having. Yabo.
Once again, bengicela ukucela bahlali uma sizokwazi ukunceda ukuthi uma ukhuluma ungakhulumi about general problems of the world in South Africa, because then as a department and as legislature we can't assist you. Uma ukhuluma mangabe awunama facts, please wait for the next session and collect your facts, because we want to intervene, but we must tell us Vilagazi Street or Emavimbela section, street number ban, so then we go and respond to that. But let us not be general. Moting nama contractor nga patalo. Please, after this meeting, give us their names and their contracts so that we can go and check their records. That's service delivery, but it can't be just another talk show as usual. We can't travel all the way from the province to engage in just a general talk show because then there's no progress. So those who are still coming to ask questions, be specific. What problem are you having? Like the problem in Yamanzi, we've just checked now. We'll escalate it. Normally in this hall, every Friday after 12, Agnamanzi, the section. This is what we just gathered now. But as we were booking this place, we were not warned by the municipality. So, Tina Aslalila. We're going to take this matter, the councillor wala and the mayor must respond to this. That is specific, Yabon. So now mauza ke ungaxoxi nje indabende nje. Ngoba sizisikhathi sabantu abanemikubuzo specific. Be specific. Mangabu serious ngokuthi problem yakhe solve, sikhombe ukuthi no, lesikipa seKaizer Chiefs sinembobo.
Thanks, Members Kusana. Thank you.
Yabon.
Okay, can I just quickly say something before I take the next speaker? When we arrived here, there was water. The water was working. I actually washed my hands in the basin. The water was working. So it may well be that the water's gone off since then. But when we came here, I can tell you there was water. But we will follow that up on this issue of the water here. Let me take the next hand, please.
Jane Maboya from Soshanguve Extension 4. Gidula Soshanguve Extension 4. Dumelang. Since Gidula Soshanguve 98, ke khale. Mo Gidulang gona ke tshwenya ke metse. So e pula enele ke pala loko tswa ka jarata. Ene le bana ba sekolo ba pala loko ya sekolong. Because I want to move on with the Ngore, Bakato via good busy. Le transport, good look at emergency. Ega say, the cosmis Alagamanchi. Good look at ambulance horror, in a lay pregnancy Gamundong, Bagaset, or maybe was in Chikis was Gamundong, living on a police arena service delivery Murdulang. Malobopula in a letata reina mola bargain ba natural disaster. Ba natural disaster, Zelela Yawanela, Brichella Etletim Amets, Ditlari, whatever, and Hemets also Hepula in us all. Meta Apalago, Gozamaga. Calibridge. Fala, that's a good jaratenjarena. Akina Amanch.
But please bring us that information to the front afterwards. Where is this bridge? Where is this road? So that with the department, they can make some follow-ups to find out what is the problem. And if it falls under the municipality, they'll give it to the municipality. But if we can get that. Next speaker, please.
Tobela, lega. Lebolela le koloko ke kae from Hamaskral. Ke represent persons with disability under the company called KCC. I have 3 challenging questions. Tje di lebaneng le Tshwane in general. One problem ya inclusion in terms of EPWP. Se ke batlang go tseba ka EPWP for bagolofadi. Nare stats se ba se bolela go sona bagolofadi le bona ba thupiwa. Ke se sefe ka hore na azanga ra se bona and le mo ke berekala mo ke dula mo gona. ke re tlhwa re bona batho ba thupiwa ba EPWP, but eupša bagolofadi bona ga ke ba bone. Ke question number 1 eo. And then question number 2, in terms of transportation. Re santsana re na le bothata bo bogolo rena re le bagolofadi gore re ka hwetša toka e re tshwanetseng ka taba ya transport. One, he ke šala ke tla mo ke irile research ka kry-a le gore poleke is not accessible for nna gore nka sepela ka wheelchair. That's the reason ka tšeko ke tsamaya ka di-crutches. Ke number 1, accessibility ya rena bagolofadi ga re tšeelwe serious. And then ye nngwe hape, he re le ka go dira di-awarenesses, re trya go lla ko go bona gore ba re thuše, ba re tswalela ka montle. Ke bolela in terms ka Tshwane municipality as a whole. Ke a leboga. Thank you.
Dumela. Le kae? Obrisco Sana from Soshanguve, Ward 89. Se ke tlo bolela ka sona mo tseleng rona persons with disability ke nagana gore re tsewe serious because of mo ditseleng a gona di road signs tse di bontshang gore mo community go na le batho ba ba nang le bogolofadi. And re jampa diskontiri like batho ba dikoloi ga ba awe ka rona. Sometimes o kry-a ba bangwe ba rona ba thula ke dikoloi. Le nna I'm a victim ke le ka thula ke koloi ke tsamaya ke di-1. And then le taba ya accessibility ya access to transport, the buses tsa rona ga di wheelchair friendly. Le yona ke ntho re kopela le re thuseng ka yona. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Malik.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nakedi Elizabeth Tlala. I'm from Hammanskraal. I am representing the Lupel organization. My first point is that I heard that you were talking about the number plates of cars to be changed. I just want to know, as a disabled person, I use one hand. And I just wanted to know, in terms of the making having a license and a learners, how do you work on that to help us? Yes, and also Tshwane, the Tshwane department disability for us. We write confirmation letters to let them know what we are suffering from. The service delivery, we don't even get those service delivery. So I just wanted to know how are we going to work on that? Thank you.
That's me. Can I go? Thank you, Chairperson, and good day, everyone. So my questions are going to be very brief. So the first one is to G-Fleet. I think they have mentioned something that is very important and very crucial for us as we are seated here. And they've mentioned that they have, over the years, they have accumulated clean audits, except for, I think it was the last financial year. And then they mentioned that they have reported that issue to the portfolio committee. So I'm here to request that they should also report to us as the community as to what happened in terms of them not meeting the gate or acquiring the clean audit in the past financial year. And then also, it is a matter of reports. I mean, many reports were presented here, and then we struggled to get here. Some of us traveled all the way. I think you had leaders speaking from here. We traveled all the way from Soshanguve and so on, so we got here late, and then pardon us for that. But can we get printed reports on the report that were printed so that we can be able to give feedback from the constituencies that we're coming from? And then in terms of the Gauteng, I think the presentation that was given there, am I still audible? I think the microphone is not working now. It's Ali Sharp, okay. So in terms of the Gauteng management, thank you for the brilliant presentation that you've given us. And then you've mentioned something about punctuality that is over 90%. And then that punctuality, it augurs with us very well, especially from areas such as Mamelodi, Atteridgeville, Soshanguve, Mabopane, and so on. So our request is that, well, just to inquire, when is the project of Gauteng going to be extended to other, other townships around Tshwane and Johannesburg and so on? Because seemingly the service is effective. And then another thing on the Gauteng management, you also mentioned that you have a collaboration with minibus taxis, which is very much commendable. You brought them in, and then passengers, and then us as communities, you are able to travel safely. But the question is, when it is the minibus taxis, when it is their turn, and then somebody is coming onto their turn, for instance, we can talking about e-hailing transport services. When they are coming and they are encroaching into their services, they tend to become violent. But in this case, I see the Gauteng management, you have accommodated minibus taxis, and that project is going well. So what is it that the Gauteng management authority is doing in terms of educating the minibus taxis that there is competition and then there is fair competition? So if someone is coming on board, there shouldn't be violence, because we're losing our families, we're losing our loved ones in terms of the violences that we are experiencing in terms of those public transport. And then second, last question, obviously, it has to do with the Gauteng Transport Authority. You've also mentioned, I think it's similar, this question is similar to the one I asked previously. So you've mentioned that on the KPIs, you have 19 KPIs, and then out of them, you've achieved 18. There's one that is outstanding. Can you please give us a report on that as to why is that outstanding? And then the last one, obviously, it is the Gauteng Road in extension. There is a lady here who spoke from extension 8. So we're talking about extension 8, we're talking about TT in Soshanguve, we're talking about extension 1, all the extensions. There is a road that connects them to the economic hub of Mabopane, and there's also a mall going there. So that road is called the Gauteng Road. So that road has got potholes, like very big potholes, and when you're traveling there, you have to stop and navigate around that, and then people are getting robbed there, the vehicles are getting smashed there. And then I think we heard there is a project that is coming. Can you get an update on that? Because that road is really a disaster for us in Soshanguve. Thank you, my leaders.
Dumela, Kali Nagena Haolaole Vincent Motroiwa. Department di bua di budget and stuff. What about rona batho ba totally blind? I could really mention something. Oh, go how train rona motho wa disability wa totally blind demon all mo hiring permanently, and other departments na. So good really bua ka taba ya EPWP. It's a 12 months contract they this thing. After all odula mo fazi. So you understand na. Keep plan if in the Tlanka no bonsa, but Bama total blend telebon. Because, okay, can need disability like Bua, but Matoba total blend. I want a motor all what include a mode. So, Katan, understand now, keep plan if the Tlanka for Rona. Thank you.
We have dealt with all the hands that were up originally. I'm not going to take another round of hands now. So I want to allow the department and the various officials to answer. I'm not going to take hands now. I'm going to ask the department and officials to answer, and then we'll have a look at the time. But what we may ask then is for you that still want to ask questions is to come up here afterwards and interact directly with the officials. But let's take the department now to answer the questions. But there's one or two points that I just wanted to quickly raise. PRASA, Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, does not fall under the provincial government. It's a national department. Falls under the National Department of Transport. So we are unable to really answer on the issue of PRASA, except what I can say is that there are a number of lines that have been reopened in Gauteng. There are still some that they're busy with fixing and busy with restoration, but there are a lot of lines that are operational again in Gauteng. So they have made significant progress, but they don't fall under the province. They're a national agency under the National Department of Transport. The second thing is, I think we must welcome the fact that there's a number of groupings of people that are here from organizations representing persons with disabilities. And I think you are all asking similar questions. Probably, what are the opportunities? How do we get recognized? Accessibility to trains, to buses, etc. And I want to make a suggestion. I'm going to ask, I don't know where Stimbiso is, or Fumlani, but somebody, where's Fumlani? Is he here? Stimbiso? Yes. Where is Stimbiso or Fumlani? Is it? Okay. Stimbiso? Can you help us? Where's Stimbiso? There he is. Stimbiso? Are you there? All right, there's a group of people here representing persons with disabilities. Can you please get their contact details? All right, so that we can then make sure that we arrange a special session where we bring in GMA, G-Fleet, and various other entities within the department and branches, so that there's a proper engagement. If you can get their contact details, I think that would be important, because they're raising a number of issues which are not all going to be answered here. You can answer what you can, but I do think there needs to be an engagement. So if we can get their contact details as well. I think then, I think those are the things that I wanted to just cover. But the road as well, the person who mentioned that road in Soshanguve, which is a lot of potholes, also apparently a new project, please bring that name forward so the department can also find out, is it one of their roads or is it a municipal road? But those are the few things I wanted to cover quickly. So CEO and your team, let's hand over to you and let's take responses. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chairperson and members of the community for the questions. Chair, as I was listening to the questions, I think you've put them into, there's various categories of questions, and we welcome the engagement with the people with disability group so that we can then understand exactly their challenges and how we can respond to that. Also, Chair, I think the roads issues, if we could get the specifics roads post this session, so that can help us also to, even if it's a municipal road, to help us as part of our IGR process, then to raise that. But Ms. Dlamini will also then respond on some of the areas that she's familiar with in terms of how we're responding to that. And I think there's been questions on the new number plates. We'll ask Kensani then also to respond on those. And then also I think we've noted a lot of questions regarding the accessibility of bus services. If we could also take those, Kensani, I'm sure if you're able to assist with those, as well as Hemlata, if there's anything from her side, and Russell. But also, just for clarity, I think just to dispel on the questions of G Fleet, I think the area we highlighted why we did not achieve the clean audit was because of our ICT system that failed us during the year, but also we had a lot of resignations that happened in our key areas that resulted in us not achieving that clean audit again. But we've already implemented measures to resolve that. And on the tag issue that was not achieved, it was one of the things that the province is working on, wood tag, which is a very critical project, is the integrated fare management system. Basically, simply put, what it is we want to create something called a one ticket, which can be used across different platforms and modes of transport. That is from your bus service to your taxis. So that part of the policy that's being created, they were not able to finalize the consultations or the stakeholder engagements as prescribed in terms of the APP. So they were not able to achieve that. That's why they were not able to achieve that one target for the annual report. And I think Siyabonga will then also assist on the issues pertaining to GMA as they've come up. So let's start, I think, on the roads aspects. There's quite a lot of road questions. Ms. Dlamini, if you could please respond on the road questions. Thank you.
Is there a roving mic, please? Thank you.
Thanks, Chair, and thanks, Mr. Pubelan. On the issue of roads that are mentioned with potholes, I just want to raise the road that it was clearly articulated, the Hlahatsi section. That road, that Nota road, you mentioned, ma'am, to Musheu, that is municipality road, Ekuruleni. However, we have IGR sessions with all municipalities. I mean, the community will never actually know that this road is municipality or provincial. And it is the responsibility of the government to look at your matters and we respond. In our IGR with Ekuruleni, we actually have MOUs that we have signed. What I need to do, ma'am, is to, with the regional manager, we go and inspect this road. And we give a program in terms of pothole patching that will also be raised progress with the portfolio committee. The second one, I didn't get it well, but is Azadville to Randfontein. I'm not quite sure in that space in the West Rand, where does it actually cut across, but I know that side of West Rand, we are actually responsible for R28. It might happen that it's a cross section. So what we'll do, we'll also have to inspect, but I must say that the process that we are engaged in is to appoint contractors. So we are in that process. At the moment, West Rand doesn't have contractors at appointment level, they're still at procurement. But we don't leave the road while we are waiting for procurement process. We deal with what we call routine maintenance. So we'll visit this road and be able to patch the potholes. I'm not quite sure whether it also goes to the D400 road that is having surface failures. So I've noted those two roads that we need to look at. The Scholar Crossing in Katleho, in Tembisa, I think those are just the next to the schools where we call it Scholar Crossing. Also that part is also at a municipality. However, there are Tish roads, that is township roads that we look at, including the hostels. So we'll need to look at the Tish roads. And I don't think that we won't be able to assist with the scholar crossing. We'll have to note that as well and do the safety in conjunction with traffic engineering to realize that how can we assist with the scholar crossing and save our children when they are crossing the roads. So far, those are the roads that I've noted. If I've missed any other roads, I'm with my colleagues, Russell, will also assist from the office of the HOD that we visit this road, chairperson, and we give a plan in terms of how do we rehabilitate these roads and what is the involvement of the municipalities in our MOUs. So I might not meet it by the end of November.
People can still come and talk to you afterwards, where they want to give you specific.
Legislation, disability is not one of the disqualification. The other issue that I want to raise is the issue of kagiso in terms of fraud and corruption.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going to address the issues of the Gauteng. Thank you for the compliment. I think all of our planning stage, what is going to be happening is planning stage. What is going to be happening is the province has instituted as what we call zones in the province to ensure that people can get to the places of employment and get to their places of residence in the planning stages. So it's something that we can all look forward to. But obviously we need to take into account the pressures that are on the fiscals at the moment, and as the plans are being done, you definitely be involved. So that is coming. The second question was related to the e-hailing partnership with the minibus taxi industry. We're so proud of that partnership because it helped us to see what is possible when we work together with our communities. When us as government, we don't dictate on the industry, but we work with them and they give us also their own views in how we can efficiently plan public transport services. The taxi industry partnership is performing better than even the Gauteng buses since its inception, which shows how good it is. As the GMA, we are now engaging the meter taxis that are around our stations to ensure that we form partnership with them so that they stop fighting with the Ubers or the e-hailing, so that they can work together to be able to transport the commuters. Because in fact, the fighting that's happening is also, discouraging people from using the service. So the team is currently actively engaged in those engagements to ensure that we have the partnership with the meter taxi industry to put them in the same footing as the e-hailing services around our stations so that they can allow all the parties to be able to operate and be open to the competition. So that's the work that we're doing at the moment, and we're sure it's going to be successful. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Can I just ask that don't you want to just talk about the Clever Mover initiative? I don't know if that thing, is it closed?
It's not going to be closed, Chair.
Can you just talk on that quickly?
Maybe just, thank you, Chair. I'll mention a bit. Clever Mover, we've got a product that we call Clever Mover that we implemented in the beginning of May. Clever Mover is a product that enables low-income people to be able to use the Gauteng. Clever Mover gives a discount of 50% on all the fares that we have on the Gauteng. Here is what you need to qualify. The household need to earn a combined income of less than 350,000. You go and register and you get a card that will give you 50% on all the services that we have on the Gauteng. Those that have cars that they can use to go to the station, we've got a product that we're running up until next year where you pay R1 only for parking if you're using the train. So you'll pay R1 for parking, you'll pay 50% of the fare that the Gauteng charges to enable you to use the train. And that is what is enabling everyone so that they can be able to use the train. But what I also want to mention is, we saw a number of groups, as the chair mentioned, of persons with disability. The Gauteng is accessible to everybody. It doesn't matter what, you know, whether you use a wheelchair or you can walk for yourself, you're using a walking stick, it's available and it's got signage that directs you, the tactiles that direct you to be able to use the service. So we've opened the service to ensure that it's accessible to everybody, and come and use the Gautrain, please. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, thank you. There's a gentleman who, the gentleman up there who is, was mentioning about one traffic signal which is not functional. I think the best thing to do is to give us the intersection so that we can go and investigate, because at the moment, the robot already box. So, this is more than that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think we've gotten most of the information as we requested. But if there's more information that can be shared with us, we'll really appreciate that post this session. But I think, Chair, we've tried to respond as best as we can, but we'll take follow-ups on the questions that's come through your committee. Thank you so much, Chair.
Okay, what I want to just make this request. We're not going to take any more hands, and I'll tell you why. There's also heavy rains predicted for this afternoon. And we also want to make sure that everybody can get back to where they've come from safely, particularly if there's rain, so that there's no speeding. So if you've got questions you still want to ask to the team will be here. You can come to the front here, and either you can give more information or you can come and ask additional questions. But before we close, we will we'll get the arrangements for lunch and everything. But from the member side, anything you want to raise just before we close? I think we've agreed we're not asking questions. So we're fine? Yes. Member Skosana? Just take your seats, please. Don't leave yet. Member Skosana?
Yes, a quick one, Chair. Bakithi asithi kancane nje. Angisho kunalento ukuthi you guys have asked questions. Now let's get into the culture ukuthi when we ask questions, we also ask ukuthi when is the possible feedback coming? Ngoba we might come back next year and get the same questions again and find that agna progress because we are not auditing our work. Another request that I want to make, as much as we move from government provincially, can you please guys get your councillors to work as communities? Then, no. I'm saying, because most of the questions that you are asking should be localized, but then use your responsibility as members of society to get your councillors and municipalities to work. In as much as we can try from provincial, which is what we're doing, that's why we even commit that we're going to come back with feedback. Can we get that culture also going down and make sure that when we work, they also work so that we can provide services to our people? Thank you.
Just to say that, Member Skosana, in the last legislature, we had a practice as the Portfolio Committee that usually at the end of each year, or sometimes a little bit longer, we would bring communities back and give the department to report back on how far they've gone in implementing some of the things that were raised. And that's the practice we'll continue with in this legislature as well. Can I check, can we just keep the noise? Where is Hazel? Hazel, please come to the front here and tell us the arrangements for lunch, etc. But don't get up because we must close properly. Okay. While Hazel is coming here, Hazel, just allow me to close the meeting off properly. So can I ask that we keep the noise down, please? So on behalf of the Portfolio Committee, we want to thank you for coming through. I know some of you arrived a little bit late. We don't normally print copies of these presentations because of the cost. But I'm sure, Stimbiso, where are you? Just come and stand up here so they can see you. If you want copies of the presentation, you must give your email address to Stimbiso because they'll be able to email them to you. But we won't be able to print them out. But you can talk to Stimbiso, and a plan will be made if you particularly want the presentations so that you can go through them. But that's Stimbiso over there. So we want to say thank you to all of you for coming. We appreciate the fact that some of you arrived late, but we appreciate the questions that have been asked and the interaction. I hope that when you leave here, you will have a better understanding as to what the Provincial Department of Roads and Transport does and how it works and how it operates. I also want to say thank you very much to the interpretation team at the back there. Thank you very much for the service you provided. I'm sure many of us benefited. I did too. So thank you very much for always being available. Thank you to the sound team for setting up the screens, for making sure there's microphones. Thanks very much to the sign language interpreters as well, and those who have been recording so that it's broadcast on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you very much for that. Let me also, can you keep the noise down, please? Please keep the noise down. Thanks to the members that have been in attendance. Thank you very much, members. Let me also say thank you to the department and the officials that are here from the department, from G-Fleet, from Gauteng Management Agency, Transport Authority Gauteng. Thank you very much. And thank you to the committee support team for all the work that went into arranging this particular public meeting. I think it's gone well. I think the questions and the interaction has gone well. So on that note, Hazel, can you just share with us how the logistics are around lunch, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Lunch is already served at the back, but maybe all please remain seated. We'll just bring as you come because we have some with disabilities. So. Okay, sorry, lunch will be served while seated. It is ready. It will just come to you right now. Members can just take the door at the back. Already lunch is served with the department as well. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so lunch will be brought to you where you are sitting. Is that right, Hazel? Okay. So lunch. So on that note, I'd like to wish you all a good weekend. Travel safely. And we'll see you again at some stage. But thank you very much, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.